Now at 9, why Allen Community College in Kansas is switching to a 4-day week for classes next fall. Plus, how Webb City Middle School is getting some national recognition.
And we're going to have your winter forecast all coming up next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Allen Community College in Kansas is switching to a 4-day class schedule. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Starting next fall, classes will take place between Monday and Thursday. The college will still have normal operating hours on Fridays, though. KOAM's Fernanda Silva was at the Iola campus and shows us how that will impact students and faculty.
Houston and Fing moved from England to Iola, Kansas to play soccer for Allen Community College. The football players were happy to hear that soon they will be having classes only from Monday to Thursday.
If we had to travel, we could go down there the day before, sleep overnight and then be fresher for the game.
Besides the traveling and resting benefits for athletes, they also see academic advantages in the change.
I think it'll benefit everybody, meaning like it'll put less pressure on us and give us more time to do homework.
Anna will have already graduated when the new policy takes place.
Do you wish that was here for you?
I wish it was. I really do.
For her, the potential downside is a challenge of keeping students concentrated for a longer period of time, as some classes will face changes in the schedule.
Sometimes our attention spans are shorter still, and some of us can't sit still as long.
We're going to be meeting the same amount of time that we would meet in our regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. We're just adjusting those Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes to Monday, Wednesday.
Allen Community College's goal is to attract new students, provide better traveling opportunities to athletes and those whose families are far away, and accommodate students who work. According to them, it also gives faculty more time to grade, prepare classes, and meet with the students.
The same number of courses, the same number of students, we even work the same number of days, the same number of contracts. It just gives some flexibility to our customers, our students.
The change is also a possible opportunity for the international soccer players to explore the 4 states area. In Iola, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The decision to switch to a 4-day class schedule made with the support of students and staff. Now, a survey was given to students and faculty and showed that more than 70% of them preferred the shorter week. There are around 400 students enrolled at the college. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a warmer day for us today. The wind started to pick up during the afternoon, so it got a little bit on the breezy side across the region. But 58 was our high, warmer than what we have seen over the past several days. 50 is our normal high record. 71 set back in 1998. Let's go outside. It looks good right now. Roads are dry, of course. Dropping back 50 in Joplin, 47 in Pittsburgh, but we're not going to drop off too much during the overnight hours tonight. Not near as cold. We had 20s. Last night, I think tonight, low to mid 40s. A 41 in Stockton, 50 in Neosho, 48 in Pittsburgh. Parsons is sitting at 46, and these winds are going to continue to increase as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. In fact, we have a wind advisory in effect, which does go in effect for us in the morning hours, lasting into Friday. We're going to have all those details, plus your winter forecast coming up in just a bit.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Doug. Well, Joplin City Council has a new temporary member. Anthony Monteleone is filling the council seat of Kate Spencer, who resigned last month. Monteleone previously served on the city council for 4 years. This position is short-term. He will only hold it until April 2nd, when voters will decide who will fill it for a full term. The council will officially swear in Monteleone at the next council meeting on December 18th. Social work students at Pitt State today got a chance to showcase the results of some community-based projects. Faculty, staff, and other students dropped by to check out the displays and talk with the students. Professor Kristen Humphrey, director of the social work program at PSU, advised the students on their projects, which ranged from a resource fair for parents to an exhibit for older adults to give advice to young people.
To go out and visit the older generation and connect with them on the same
level that they would connect with anybody else.
There are so many diverse experiences within mental health. It was just amazing to see, someone drew one thing and then it just meant something completely different than what I would have thought.
The showcase took place at Russ Hall on the campus of PSU. Well, a study gives high marks to a Webb City school. A report by U.S. News places Webb City Middle School in the Missouri top 50. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
The Cardinals of Webb City are in the limelight once again as they have found a spot on the U.S. News Best Middle Schools list. Principal Jonathan Wingert has nothing but compliments for his teachers and knows exactly where to give the credit.
It's our teachers. Our teachers do a great job. We really try to build a collaborative culture here to where we can share ideas and work together as teams to do great things for our students. And we've made it a priority to make sure that we are looking at math and reading and writing and doing those things every single day and holding our students accountable, and our teachers do a great job of it.
Teachers like Beth Bridges.
They're very smart. I think that it's not just the middle school that is to be credited for this. I think that as a district, we do a really good job. Like the kids, they come in a really good spot.
And Lori Smith.
When I get phone calls or emails from students or parents that say, this was the first time the kids felt successful in math. This was a turning point for them, was being here in the middle school.
Both of which contribute to Webb City's strong academic achievement. When it comes to the subject of math, 34% of students in Missouri score proficient or better. But Webb City Middle School has that beat, with 53% of students scoring proficient or better. In the subject of reading, the Missouri number is a little bit higher at 42%. But yet again, Webb City Middle School has that beat at 55%.
And our students, they just do a good job. They're here to work, and we're proud of them, and we're proud of the work they do every day.
Despite the humility shared by Principal Wingert and his fellow teachers, there's one thing that's clear. Webb City soars above the rest. Reporting in Webb City, Missouri, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
According to U.S. News, schools are ranked on their performance on state-required tests, graduation, and how well they prepare their students for high school. The PSU Jazz Ensemble will hit the road for their first off-campus gig at Meadowlark Elementary School. The goal is to line up as many outreach concerts as possible to give the musicians a chance to experience what professional musicians do when playing gigs. The ensemble also aims to increase accessibility, awareness, and appreciation for jazz.
That they have discovered a new art form that's out there that they're probably familiar with. I mean, jazz is in all sorts of music that they already know, and I hope that it inspires them to pick up an instrument and pursue music.
And also for my students at Pittsburgh State, they haven't been on the road yet this year. Teaches them a few lessons about getting to a gig on time, unpacking, packing, and then performing without a lot of warm-up.
Every March, the PSU Jazz Band holds a jazz festival at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts. Coming up, improving medical technology.
Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing healthcare and in the process saving lives. We're going to show you how AI is being used to detect seizures live from an ICU right after break.
The National Transportation Safety Board held its first summit to address pilot mental health. It comes one day after the FAA announced a new committee that could suggest changes to rules. A study surveying pilot mental health found more than 12% of commercial pilots showed signs of depression, with more than 4% reporting suicidal thoughts. From scheduling visits to detecting cancers, experts say AI will aid just about every medical office, and it won't completely replace your doctors. Fox Business's Lauren Simonetti explains.
The medical community is increasingly turning to artificial intelligence to improve patient care. Think augmentative to doctors, not replacive. AI is being used to detect seizures. Cerebell is an FDA-cleared medical device that uses a headband, 10 electrodes, and an algorithm to determine if a patient is experiencing a silent seizure. It can make the diagnosis in minutes. A traditional test to detect abnormalities of the brain can take 4 to 60 hours. Here's why doctors say that's important.
There are these silent seizures that can happen, and it happens very frequently in the intensive care unit, where someone just isn't waking up and you're not exactly sure, but their body isn't moving like you would see in a typical seizure. And that's why we were able to use this device, and that's how it helped this patient just from a couple of weeks ago.
That patient Dr. Stumacher was referencing was not seizing. Therefore, he was not put on a ventilator or moved to another location. It's an example of how AI helps the hospital save time and money, especially as the industry stares down a shortage of specialists, including neurologists. In Mount Kisco, New York, I'm Lauren Simonetti, Fox Business.
Well, slow and steady may be best for overweight people who also have knee or hip osteoarthritis and are on weight loss medication. New research shows for this group, slow to moderate weight loss cut their risk of death by nearly a third. Losing weight too quickly did not have the same effect. Electrical brain stimulation may boost cognitive function in people with Alzheimer's disease. That's according to a new study published in General Psychiatry. Researchers believe the electrical stimulation may help the formation of new neural networks in the brain. Their study looked at 140 patients with mild to moderate Alzheimer's. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, a Labette County High School softball standout signs to continue her career at the college level.
Well, it definitely turned out to be at least a little bit warmer for us today. Temperatures did warm into mainly the, let's say mid to upper 50s across the region, which was great. We'll definitely take that. Looks great outside right now. Nice shot of Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Of course, downtown Joplin. All right, near 50 yesterday. We pushed 60 for us today. We're going to go into the 60s tomorrow. Southerly winds are going to help us warm up, but at the same time, we have a wind advisory in effect for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. And this is going to be due to winds gusting at times right around 40 miles per hour. Already picking up southerly winds at about 10 to 15, and those are going to continue to strengthen all night long. Look at this. By early afternoon, we're going to have winds gusting 40, maybe 42, 43 miles per hour, so you need to secure everything down tomorrow, trash can inside. Still very windy tomorrow night. They come down a little bit by Friday, but still we're going to have gusts 30 to 35, and then they'll drop off as we head into the weekend. But the next couple days, they're going to be pretty windy. All right, mid to upper 40s to near 50 is where we sit right now. Let's go outside. 7th and range line currently at 50. South winds at 17. Look at that, gusts at 25. Have a few clouds sneaking through. Most of us look good. Just a few clouds to our northern parts of Missouri. We're watching this system. This is our next storm system. This system will start to affect us as we go into Friday. But here's what's interesting. When this kicks out into the Central Plains, the energy kind of splits. It's one of the systems we have in this pattern. But watch this. Upper level low, northern parts of the plains, Central Rockies. As it comes out, all the energy up across parts of Minnesota. This ejects out, the second one kicks in, and we'll see severe weather Saturday across the southern plains, but the energy kind of splits around us. So the end result is we're just going to get a few showers. Not a huge deal. All right, let's go through time. A lot of clouds during the morning hours, partly sunny skies by the afternoon. We do go into the mid 60s, so it's going to be fairly warm. Tomorrow night, clouds increase. As we go into Friday, a few showers start to pop up early afternoon. Hit and miss showers Friday afternoon into Friday evening, and then most of this ejects east. We may get a random thunderstorm as these push east, and then just a lot of clouds on Saturday and dropping temperatures. Day planner for you on your Thursday, 46 to start, 60 by noon. High temp is 64, and remember, very windy. All right, 63 tomorrow, or 64, 61 on Friday, 52 and dropping. So Saturday, we're going to drop into the 30s. So it is going to be chilly over the weekend.
Yeah.
And of course, winter
cold
forecast in our second half hour.
next forecast in the show.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, record-breaking sales.
The FBI says it's conducted 11% more firearm background checks on Black Friday than it did last year. We'll tell you who's buying these firearms coming up.
The top 1% of American earners now control more wealth than the nation's entire middle class. That's according to Federal Reserve statistics through the first half of the year. It amounts to about $38.7 trillion split among America's wealthiest. And that includes billionaires Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, but also many multimillionaires who are low profile. Well, a spike in crime is typically seen around the holidays, and this year consumers broke records with their firearms purchases on Black Friday. Fox Business Network's Kelly Sabiri reports from outside of Chicago, where one shop says they're seeing an increase in female customers.
On Black Friday, over 200,000 people applied for their firearm background checks, breaking the previous record that's up 11% from last year. We are at Gat Guns outside of Chicago, the largest independent retailer of firearms in the Midwest. We're joined by Nicole Guvenos, who's going to tell us a little bit about what trends she's seeing here at Gat Guns. Nicole, tell me, are we seeing more women join us here at the range?
Yes, I can absolutely excitedly tell you women are definitely getting more involved in firearms. They're coming in to purchase, they're coming in to train, and we're very happy about that.
Tell me about the age changes. Are we seeing similar ages or younger or older people coming out?
So we are seeing a lot of older people, a lot of the aged population coming in to purchase firearms, apply for their gun licenses, and we're very happy about that. They want to protect themselves. They want to learn more. So we're making sure that they are in a firearm that they're comfortable with and that they're getting properly trained.
Talk to me about these. What's popular? What are people coming out for?
Okay. So these are Smith & Wesson firearms. We have revolvers here, low recoil on the smaller revolvers. Women love these. And then the handguns, semi-automatic pistols, #1 seller for almost every firearm dealer in the world. Anything from small to larger. Small goes in your pocket. The larger ones carry guns, self-protection for home.
Thank you, Nicole. She also tells me that there are a number of other designs and features you can get that have been catering to women and people of different ages. In East Dundee, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Well, Americans bought an estimated 1 million fully electric vehicles in 2023. That's the first time that many EVs have ever been sold in this country in a single year. The estimate was confirmed by Cox Automotive, which closely tracks U.S. auto sales. The increase has been driven in large part by the increased variety of EV models available. By the second half of 2023, there were 95 different EV models available in the U.S. That's a 40% increase over just 1 year. U.S. crude oil prices tumbled below $70 a barrel for the first time since July. This bodes well for consumers who could see gas prices fall even more. The national average price for regular gas dipped to $3.22 a gallon, and that's according to AAA. That's an 11-month low. Analysts are attributing the oil sell-off to concerns about soft demand from China and record-setting supply from the U.S. Up next, we'll learn what the most viewed Wikipedia articles of the year are. The Wikipedia Foundation releases its most viewed articles of the year. The nonprofit that hosts the free online encyclopedia says ChatGPT, a free AI chatbot, was the most viewed of 2023. ChatGPT had nearly 50 million views. Next on the list of most viewed articles, deaths in 2023, followed by 2023 Cricket World Cup. Interesting. Rounding out the top 5, Indian Premier League and the film Oppenheimer. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. McDonald County High School students get their hands dirty conducting a crayfish study. Plus, the city of Miami, Oklahoma discusses plans for a new terminal at the Miami Regional Airport.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
Well, the newest STEM class at McDonald County High School gets students out of the classroom and onto the river. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
For this class, a canoe is no different than a Chromebook in their English class.
Give me about 2 seconds and I will be. There we go.
This is the first year that students at McDonald County High School can take an outdoors class to learn about the world around them.
About 2 days a week in our classroom where we go over research papers to compare other research studies to ours. And then the other days we are out here on the river. We are in the canoes or just out here on the bank studying, looking, just wondering what we can do to make it better, to get better results. Don't hit Charity's ankles.
The students are looking for an invasive species of crayfish along the Indian Creek that's across the street from the high school.
Having one that's non-native can be pretty disruptive, and other locations around the country you've got crayfish that have moved in and have altered the ecosystem to a pretty significant degree.
It's a little chilly sometimes like today, but it's definitely worth it.
The outdoors class is using these traps to capture crayfish, but they're also capturing the minds of future researchers.
I want to be able to study and help the environment.
And I think there was some hesitation at first. It was kind of a new thing. Nobody really knew what was going on with it. And then as they've seen pictures that these kids have posted to social media and that I've posted on our Facebook, I think that's generated a lot of interest, and I'm hearing from a lot of kids that they're planning to take this class in the future. So,
whether it's setting traps, researching, or canoeing, Keith Jones says these are the elements of a hands-on STEM class.
Doesn't necessarily look like what a lot of people picture when they picture STEM, but this is definitely a STEM class.
Reporting in Anderson, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The results from the last project the class worked on were showcased at the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Great job, kids. Well, Miami, Oklahoma city leaders today discussed plans for a new terminal at the Miami Regional Airport. City council members were presented with new designs and information about the project this evening. Now, it's expected to cost around $2.5 million. More than $1 million of that would be funded grants and state money. The rest would come from the city.
You know, we have a facility currently that's outdated and run down a little bit, and with the growth in the area and the new project in Bonita, we need a new facility to accommodate more passengers. We have just started a company in Miami Airport for flight training and trying to expand our services. So we want to get a new facility to accommodate our expanding operations.
Construction on the project is expected to start next May and is expected to be complete by February of 2025. Well, billions of dollars of Ukraine aid are at stake in the Senate. Today's procedural vote on the national security and supplemental for Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and the border failed, leaving those dollars in limbo. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more on this story.
In an urgent speech, President Biden laid out the stakes if Ukraine doesn't get the military aid it needs before year's end.
If Putin takes Ukraine, he won't stop there. It's important to see the long run here.
His appeal comes as Republicans and Democrats in Congress remain at odds over funding. The White House wants more than $100 billion for Ukraine, Israel, and other needs that the Biden administration says will only strengthen American interests.
And so much of the money in the supplemental will come right back to us through investments in American jobs.
On the other hand, GOP lawmakers say nothing will boost national security more than immigration reform, and they won't push the president's request past the finish line until the border is addressed. Officials from Customs and Border Protection tell Fox there were more than 12,000 migrant encounters at the southern border on Tuesday, making it the highest single-day total ever recorded.
As these numbers go to new levels and historic levels, the FBI director yesterday told us he's never seen more threats against our homeland than he does today.
President Biden says he's willing to make significant compromises on the border, but adds funding for Ukraine shouldn't be caught in the middle of the fight.
Petty, partisan, angry politics can't get in the way of our responsibility as a leading nation in the world.
While Congress remains split, the Biden administration still has ways it can help Ukraine and is gearing up to send another aid package, including artillery and ammunition. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is calling it quits. In a Wall Street Journal op-ed, the California Republican announced he is resigning from Congress at the end of the year. McCarthy was first elected to Congress in 2007. McCarthy says he will stay involved with Republican politics. Well, police say a suspect has been found dead as officers responded today to an active shooter in a building at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The Las Vegas sheriff says there is no further threat, but that 3 people were killed in addition to the suspect. Another was critically wounded. The university first reported shots fired just before noon today. Well, Doug is up next with his winter forecast. And then later, a Labette County softball star makes her college commitment. John Dales has that story and more in sports.
Well, of course, it is December again, so that means it's winter forecast time. We're going to look over what we could see as we go through the next 3 months. First off, let's look back at last year. We had only 2 Arctic blasts. Our average snow is 12 inches. We only got 6.75, and majority of that occurred out of 1 storm right before Christmas. So we did actually have a pretty good white Christmas last year. We just didn't see overall a lot of winter weather. All right, the chaos of forecasting. We're in an El Nino. We've been in a La Nina the past 3 years, so this is a switch. I like to pay attention to the Arctic oscillation, the NAO, the AO. That's what kind of lets us know how much Arctic air could we get during the winter. This all influences the pattern, the LRC. This is a pattern I've helped develop over the past 25 years. It is a unique pattern that sets up each and every September. So we're fairly new into the pattern. We've only gone through 1 cycle, but looking at that 1 cycle, we're going to project forward what I think we could see over the next 3 months. Here's our typical feature that we are seeing. Jet stream kicks out a couple little waves. These are weak to moderate waves. We don't get a lot of cold air. As we go through the winter months, we'll get a little bit of rain. We have one of these rolling through over the past couple of weeks, but we'll get a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of snow, but 80% of this winter and pattern is kind of weak little features like this. Now, about 4 or 5 times over the next 3 months, we're going to see this feature set up. Big ridge, Pacific Northwest, big ridge, just north of New England. This is a blocking pattern. It allows those polar vortexes to come down. Subtropical jet allows stronger systems to drop in. And again, this will happen 4 or 5 times, but this will be our potential to get some stronger systems. Doesn't mean it will happen, but it's at least our potential. We'll see one of these setups right before Christmas. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. All right, so I do expect temperatures or precip to be just below average, which kind of stinks, but we're in the pattern. Temperatures I expect to be just above average, very similar to what we've seen over the past couple months. Snowfall near average. We average about 12 inches across the 4-state area. I do think we'll get 3 to 4 Arctic outbreaks, and I do think we should get at least 1 ice setup with those Arctic outbreaks. Heaviest snow by far this winter is going to be Dodge City, Wichita, Topeka, Kansas City. They're in a good stripe. The farther south and east you work, the snow starts to taper off. But Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, 12 to 16. Most of us 8 to 12, 4 to 8 in our southern counties. Of course, if we can get a storm system to come through, this could all change. So that's a look at your 2023-2024 winter forecast. We're going to have more news and weather coming up next.
Lily Beery is a mainstay on the softball diamond for Labette County High School. In fact, Grizzly softball head coach Hannah Harity says the team has relied on her as their only pitcher over the past couple of seasons. And today, Beery's hard work paying off as she signs her letter of intent to continue her softball career at Fort Scott Community College. Beery says it's a big plus that it's so close to home, and once she visited the Greyhound softball team, the decision was pretty easy.
As soon as I stepped on campus with Fort Scott, it really just felt like home. I toured some other local JUCOs, but none of them really stuck out to me. I love the foundation and the culture that Coach K has set at Fort Scott. I'm really excited to go in and work and hopefully be a top dog there.
Over to college football, the regular season done at the FBS level. We're 10 days away from bowl season. That means it's awards season throughout college football. Two names familiar to the four states bringing home some hardware today. Starting first with Jerry Kill, head coach of New Mexico State, who guided the Aggies to a 10-win season. He's the Region 4 FBS Coach of the Year, according to the AFCA. He got his start in coaching at Pitt State as an offensive and defensive coordinator, as well as coaching at Webb City. Meanwhile, over at Mizzou, Eli Drinkwitz is the AFCA Region 2 Coach of the Year, as well as the SEC Coach of the Year. He's also brought his team to a 10-win season, this coming on the heels of two consecutive 6-7 campaigns. The Tigers finished the year out in a New Year's Six bowl game. That's on December 29th against number 7 Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl down in Arlington, Texas. Over to Major League Baseball, the annual winter meetings taking place this week in Nashville and the 2024 draft order being revealed. The Royals receiving some disappointing news on that front. Kansas City finished with the 2023 season with the second worst record in baseball. That meant the Royals were tied with the A's and Rockies for the best odds to get the #1 overall pick. However, KC ending up with the 6th pick in the draft, and the Cleveland Guardians get the first pick despite having only the 9th best odds. Now, this is just the second year of the draft lottery, which was implemented to discourage teams from tanking to try to get a better pick. Royals general manager and executive vice president J.J. Piccolo saying afterwards a lot of the same feelings that Royals fans have right now. Quote, "There's frustration, there's disappointment. You go into it thinking you might get the first pick." Ultimately, though, he finishes simply saying it's the system in place. There's nothing we can do about it. That's all for sports. We're back with more news after this.
The oceans are full of life, and their contents help fuel mankind, from providing us with food to materials used in medicines, and from generating oxygen to promoting vital economies and more. But some scientists say surging levels of greenhouse gases are threatening critical marine life. Ted Linder takes a closer look at an ongoing project aimed at discovering new ocean species before researchers say climate change causes them to go extinct.
As world leaders meet in Dubai for the ongoing United Nations Climate Summit, activists say one thing is clear.
If we have to focus on what's causing climate change, it's obviously fossil fuels. And therefore, what will solve climate change is obviously decarbonizing our economies.
Data from the scientific group Global Carbon Project reveals carbon dioxide emissions increased by 1.1% this year. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the world's oceans play a huge part in absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. But the higher levels of the gas are causing the oceans to become hotter and more acidic, threatening vital marine life. In a race against time, a global team of scientists, a part of the Ocean Census Project, are trying to discover 100,000 new marine species over the next decade, before researchers say many could be wiped out by climate change.
We'll be going into the cave and trying to locate some beautiful critical sponges that the scientists will be able to study, and as well take rock samples and hopefully find some algae.
So far, there's been success. A team of divers working along Spain's Canary Islands believe they recently discovered a new species of mollusk.
Its entire body is covered by small scales, like the scales of a fish. And from what we have seen with the animal alive, it absorbs with the front of its body. It swells, grabs the liquid, and would surely pick up sediment, organic matter from the sand, and that is what it feeds on.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
The Ocean Census team currently is working in the Canary Islands and is expected to wrap up research there on December 17th. Any potential new species they continue to find will be documented and later added to scientific journals. Well, coming up, Time Magazine announces its Person of the Year. We'll learn why they chose pop superstar Taylor Swift. Singer-songwriter Taylor Swift is Time Magazine's new Person of the Year. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the latest from Los Angeles.
Cheers and applause on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange as Time magazine celebrated naming Taylor Swift the 2023 Person of the Year. The pop superstar selected by editors as the individual considered to have had the most influence on the world this past year, beating out contenders Barbie, Hollywood strikers, and King Charles III. Time magazine saying while her popularity has grown across the decades, this is the year that Swift achieved the kind of nuclear fusion, shooting art and commerce together to release an energy of historic force.
To think of why they picked the Person of the Year, moved economies, generated an enormous amount of economic value.
Her sold-out Eras tour expected to generate a jaw-dropping $5 billion in consumer spending, more gross domestic product than 50 countries combined. Are you ready for it? Plus, Swift released this year a 3-hour IMAX film earning more than $250 million as of last month.
She's just like an incredible person. I think she has like such a beautiful aura.
And while her professional career exploded, it was her personal life that garnered overwhelming attention.
We're lucky we've had her twice now.
Swift's high-profile relationship with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, uniting Swifties and football fans.
What is the latest status?
Spice it up.
The latest status is I got to see her last week. That's the latest status right there.
In her Time Person of the Year cover story, Taylor opens up about her relationship, admitting football is, quote, awesome and a sport that she's been missing out her whole life. In Los Angeles, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of Santa Claus feeding the fish at an aquarium in Germany. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.